righty. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Goddess Coffee Talk. I am Laurie Baracco coming at you here from Bonita Springs, Florida. And my lovely co-host is...
Hi, I'm just making sure we're live. That did something weird. So I'm going to make sure. Okay, I think we are. Hello. My name is Kelly Parsons. I'm coming from Savannah, Georgia. It's a little warm today.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Super.
Yeah,
I don't need to repeat my microphone mishaps from last week.
Hey, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. Can't help it. You know, you could be as prepared as you want, and then something happens, and then you just got to roll with it and say, oh, well, you know, I did my best. And laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh at it. We're not perfect.
No.
And we've got a new moon. I believe today is the new moon. So this means new beginnings, planting seeds, working with your intentions of what you would like to grow within the next couple of weeks or so. And then with that process, then you kind of just put it out to the universe and allow it to do what it needs to do. But anyhow, I digress. So today, this week I'll be interviewing the lovely and talented Kelly J Parsons. And I've got some questions prepared for her. So I have a question. Have you ever been interviewed before?
In
this
Not
way?
as an adult. There is a funny clipping of a interview I had when I was a kid at summer camp. And these product testers came around and gave us a bunch of new products they wanted to bring to market. And I was chosen as one of the kids to test them. And so they asked me all about it. And like the newspaper came, I don't know why. It was weird. But so technically, yes.
Awesome.
But that's a number of years ago now.
Well, you have a lot more life experience and things that have happened. So I'd love to get started with these questions so that we can all learn a little bit more about Kelly, hopefully a little bit more intimately. And I'm sure that there are things that I don't know about Kelly that will come to light that are interesting. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So my second question, because I already asked your question. Where were you born?
I was born in Fort Myers, Florida, over at the Memorial Hospital in 1983. Not that you asked that, but.
Extra info. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. So how long did you live in Fort Myers? So a little bit of the chronological, where you lived geographically, up until Savannah.
So I was born in Fort Myers. Then I grew up there. I was born and raised there. I went to college. That was really the first time I left the area. I went to West Palm Beach to a school called Palm Beach Atlantic University. And then after that, well, actually I took a year off during my time, went and lived in Nashville, Tennessee for a little bit, went back, finished my degree, and then went back to Nashville, lived there for a number of years. I did some traveling too. So I went to Central America for a little bit back in 2009. So it's been like 10 years ago now. And then went back to Nashville. I kept going in and out of Nashville a lot. Then I left there, moved back down to Fort Myers, stayed there for about a year and a half, I guess, something like that. Then I moved to Western North Carolina into a small town called Waynesville. My grandma lived there, and we went up to help out and keep an eye on her. Then in May of this year, I bought a house in Savannah, Georgia. So I'm in Savannah, Georgia now. So that's been a little bit of a roller coaster to get here, but here I am.
Yeah, it's all purposeful though, right? So there was something definitely that kept pulling you though back to Tennessee for sure.
Yeah, I learned a lot when I was there. I grew a lot. I met some really great people that I think were important to my path and my journey that really helped me grow as an individual, grow spiritually and emotionally, really work through some old stuff that I picked up when I was a kid. And so, yeah, it was definitely on purpose. And then going back down to Fort Myers was how I met you. too.
Mhm.
I didn't
Mhm.
know you before that. And so I met a lot of other really great people in Fort Myers. So everywhere I have been, there's definitely been a purpose behind it, a reason
Mhm.
that I needed to go spend time in those areas and meet certain people. I think we have soul contracts like that, where we meet people that need to be in our life for whatever reason, whether it's to be there for a short time and help us grow or teach us something or anything like that. So I've met those kinds of people all along the way.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're right. I agree that it's all purposeful. Everywhere we think things are random, everywhere you go, there's a reason, there's a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and we may not find out till later.
Yeah, we may not see it. We may not see it right away, but it's definitely happening. That's a good reminder for me right now.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right, ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
I'd like for you to describe what you do.
Oh, so I technically my business is a creative services agency because I do so many different things I didn't know what else to call it, basically.
Mhm.
So I do web design and graphic design, marketing, social media management. I've dabbled in videography a little bit. Some clients use it from time to time, and then also photography as well, which is really how I started in my creative endeavors, was through photography. But it grew into something that was really more my speed, more my style anyway.
Mm-hmm. And what other jobs have you had previously, before you started your own business, or even during while you had your own business? There probably was a time where you had two jobs,
A
right?
little transition. Yeah. So my very first job was at Johnny Rockets over in Bell Tower in Fort Myers. I loved it. I pretended like I didn't. If you've ever been to Johnny Rockets, you can put money in they have little jukeboxes at all the tables, and there's choreographed dances that the waiters and waitresses learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if the song comes on, we're supposed to dance. We're supposed to stop everything we're doing and dance to it. Well, nobody liked it. Everybody was like, "Oh God, this is terrible." And I would say that with them, but secretly, I loved every minute of the dancing. I'm honest with myself now, to where I would be like, "Oh my God, this is terrible," and then I was like. And then after that, I had lots of like waitress and restaurant jobs. I worked at Payway in Nashville for a long time. I was a personal creative assistant to a guy that worked in Nashville. He did IT work and also
Mm-hmm.
was a DJ as well. He had like two different things that he did. That was a really cool job because I got to meet famous people. Like he was like a concierge IT guy, so they'd call him. He'd go do all the things for them. People that you can't just like wander around outside literally on their own. Like
Mm-hmm.
can't, because they're just too famous, basically. So that was a really fun job. I did that for a while. And I worked for a couple of months right before I stopped doing other jobs, for a health management associates, which is now got bought out by somebody else. But I worked there for a couple of months as the creative assistant for the CIO for a
Mm-hmm.
while. That was interesting too. I don't like the corporate world. Learned that very quickly. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
too
a
much.
whole other thing.
It's too much. Good morning, Sherry. Sherry Piazza says good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Sherry. So out of your job, so what was your favorite then? So was it the Johnny Rockets or?
That was pretty good. I did enjoy that dancing, but I would say I probably liked working as the creative assistant the best because there was the most freedom and I learned the most. It was
Mm-hmm.
always interesting. I was always doing different things, and that was sort of the foundation to grow into different varieties of things for me that I didn't realize that I was interested in, because he was just kind of like, you can do this, go do it, basically. And so yeah, I think I probably liked that one the best outside of what I do
Mm-hmm.
now.
So did you ever think that you'd be doing what you're doing now? If you kind of look back when you were younger and going to school, or even before school, or when you were at Johnny Rockets or Payway, did you think that you would be where you're at now?
No, definitely not. No, not at all.
Or
No.
even doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, no, so I went to school for something completely different. I actually went to school for biblical studies and studied that and have a degree in that. But quickly realized in that process that sort of structured um, paradigm was really not for me. That I was kind of like, why can't we just all love each other and get along? Like, we have a lot more in common than we don't. Why can't we just focus on that? So I have since moved much more in sort of the spiritual direction of love and unity and that kind of stuff, and meditation and things like that. That I'm honestly much healthier at. But no, at the time I never would have considered this would be where I am today, because I was going to be a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be a preacher. But yeah, no, I would never have guessed it at the time.
which shows us that where we're at now, we probably won't be where we're at now in the future, right? So who knows what the future holds, because what we thought, where we thought we would be, is not where we're at now, and that very rarely happens, you know.
Yeah, I mean even a year ago I wouldn't have guessed that I would be living in Savannah, Georgia, in a house like that. Would not have, if you had said that to me a year ago, I'd been like, I don't see that happening. Or even just a couple of years ago, I would never have guessed that for myself. But I guess that's the learning, is you go with the flow, and sometimes you need to make big changes for your highest good and for the path that you're destined to walk on in this life.
I agree. So when you were younger, what games did you play? So what games, or pretend, or what was your favorite thing to do when you were younger?
So I really liked playing Office in my closet. I had a walk-in closet and I would play Office all the time. I would sit there by myself for hours. Like, my shelves were my filing. I had folders and they were my filing. I had my stepdad's old briefcase, and I had to, like, that was my and so I played Office. I also played a lot with my brother outside. We would go build forts and we call it the forest, but really it was just like a couple of trees. It's funny how your perspective is different when you're a kid. But we'd go play forts and build stuff out there, and like just do stupid things like that. We played outside. Like, we didn't have the technology that these kids have today. So like, if mom was sick of us, like, okay, go play, bye, get out. Yeah, so we were both still in that generation that didn't, still played outside and had to get out to do something, bored inside, so we had to go somewhere. So we'd go play fort. That was probably my favorite. I liked Office too.
So, because what I've noticed is that what we play when we're younger gives us a clue, a hint of what is to come in the future.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Because my mom, I was talking to my mom the other day, because she was like, I posted that on my Facebook that, here's to the girls and the women who preferred who prefer Office play, like playing Office as a kid than playing house. Like, it never really interested me. And she, like, I was her little girl and I was the baby and I was the youngest. And so she wanted, let's have like princess dresses and pretty Barbies, and would buy me like the American Girl dolls and all the things. And I just never really cared. And she was kind of like, yeah. So I was like, well, I'm not buying this stuff anymore because it's expensive. Screw that. Here's a ball. I don't know. She was very supportive. She would never want me to be anything other than who I wanted to be. But she was kind of like, oh, we're not doing dolls? No? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess not then. Yeah, I liked playing Office. I had to have pencils. Pencils were important.
Do you have pencils right now?
Yes, I have a lot of things right now.
See?
I have a plethora and a feather.
Oh, there you go. Very good, Pastor Parsons.
Yeah. But I told people that today. Like, if anybody knows me personally, they're like, the fuck? Like, wait, what? That's a whole other conversation. I could go on for a while about that, but yeah.
So who was your best friend when you were younger?
That would have been Hope Wheeler. She and I met when we were in K4, which was like pre-K, and went to the same school all the way through high school. So we were friends. We've been friends for a long time.
Are you still friends?
Yeah, not as close as we used to be, of course, because adult life. But when I was down in Fort Myers last time, back in July, was it? We had breakfast, and it was like we had never, like, I haven't seen her in years, but it was like nothing. It was like, yep, same old thing. It's funny how some relationships are like that.
I love relationships like that. You know, it's like as if time stood still. You just pick up where you left off.
Yeah. It's
so
like that
easy.
Connection endures, like that connection between people just endures. And you're like, yeah, you're the same. I recognize you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. So within your business, what are you really passionate about with your business? And I'm sure that this does change and has changed over time. So like, what is it like? I can't wait to do more of this, or sinking your teeth into. Not that all jobs aren't important, but there are some things that change over time, right? That we become even more, we get more excited about.
Yeah, I think that right now I'm sort of in a transition with my business. And the thing that really excites me now is true. It wasn't necessarily what excited me before. To some degree, there has been underlyings of this. Like, I really enjoy teaching people and helping them see how all these different tools can help their business and help them achieve the life that they have envisioned for themselves, to be free of sort of the corporate gig and just have more control and be empowered. So I used to do that a lot one-on-one, just in general, just explaining why it was I was doing any of the things I was doing for my clients. But now I want to transition more into a larger platform that I can help people and explain and encourage people to let go of sort of jobs they don't like, or if they're stuck in a corporate gig and they are feeling like a deeper soul's calling to do something different, to go do that, and helping them learn some of the things that I have learned along the way to make that happen. That's what I get excited about these days.
Yeah. I could see why, you know, I mean, it's always so nice to see people learn from your experiences and sharing that info and inspiring them. I mean, it feels good, right? It feels so good to watch things transform for people.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what you're passionate about is kind of what, like, the sort of like your favorite things about your business. So I'm going to ask a little bit about what are some of the challenges that you find within your business?
So I would say, excuse me, it can be difficult. So I think there's, I think every business has challenges. It can be hard when people don't necessarily want to, or don't understand the deeper meaning behind what it takes on their end to make their business work. Sometimes I'll get clients that saddle that responsibility on me. It's like, well, I'm going to do this, so why you should make my business like $1 million. Well, that's fine. I can work with you to accomplish that. But if you're not going to do any work, it's not going to happen. I don't care how much money you pay somebody else or how skilled they are. Like, you're the engine behind everything, the client is. And if you're not going to do the work, I can't help you. It's just not. And that's tricky because they get frustrated. But it's like, well, there's a lot of reasons why you're frustrated. One, most probably because your expectations aren't really in check. And, like, what do you have to take responsibility for? I think that's probably the biggest thing, is people not taking responsibility for themselves or their own business. If they don't follow up on what I'm doing, if I send them leads and they don't do anything with them, I can't be held responsible. You know what I mean? So that's probably the trickiest part, is people not understanding what their responsibility is in it when they hire someone like me to help them.
And the bottom line is, it is their business too. And I think that maybe attitude towards it and being proactive. So you can't just slap it up there like put up a website and expect, hey, it's going to do great, because there is momentum. There are all the things, the SEO, but then there's also their part, their attitude, their follow through, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Makes sense.
Like, I'm not the face of your business. I'm the face of my business. And I'm going to help you create the face of yours. But that means you have to show up and, actually be there and be involved.
Yeah. So with that being said, what would you say are some of the pros and cons about starting out on your own business?
So, for me, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. I think the pros are you have a tremendous amount of freedom, and the only person that can tell you how much money you can make is yourself. I think that's probably the biggest pro. Like, if I'm working in a corporate environment, I'm going to get to a certain point where I'm just not going to make any more money, or very little. Like, I'm not going to be able to exponentially expand my income, because that's just the structure of corporate or working for someone else. Whereas when I am running the business, I'm in charge, which is a double-edged sword. I'm in charge of both how much money I'm making and how much I can make too. So really the sky's the limit. So the boundary is only myself. And while that can be very empowering, it can be very scary too. And I think that's sort of one of the, not really cons, but it can be a challenge, is that I always say, if you really want to know who you are as a person and what you really want out of life, start a business. If you want to know what kind of fortitude you have, start a business. Yeah. If you want to, get a crash course in basically a PhD in business, start it on your own. Just run out there and be like, I want to start a business, see how it goes. It can be very, it will bring up all the things about yourself that you didn't even realize about yourself and help you see. And if you take that opportunity, you could become one of, some of the best versions of yourself as you grow each of those different steps. Or you'll be like, yeah, no, not really into that. I'm going back to the cubicle, which is totally fine. And really, it's not for everybody. I think that's the other thing, is people see other people doing it and they think it's super easy and I can do it. And like, they're doing it. So even, I'll just do exactly what they're doing. It doesn't work like that. And running a business is not for everyone. And it's okay if it's not for you. It's totally fine. Or if it's just a small part and something else is coupled with it to make you money, totally fine. If you're not super committed to the long-term business plan or the diving in, then you might as well just not.
Yeah, because it's very rare that it's an instant success. It takes momentum and trust and all those things, right? And patience.
And I think instant success is a misnomer, because I think it's like all of a sudden this person is in front of us, but you don't see the years of work that it has taken to get to that point. So like, we see a microcosm, like a little bitty picture of the path, and think that's the whole path. Right. It's like reading one chapter out of a book and think exactly what the book is about. Like, you can't jump to the middle of the book and be like, yeah, I totally understand. No, it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of things that happen that you can't see and that you're not privy to that led up to this instant success idea. I think it's a misnomer. I don't think it actually happens.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I agree. So what do you do to de-stress when you're busy, you have deadlines, all these things? What do you do to help shift gears and woosah a little? Hold on. There we go.
There we are. Sorry. I hit the button. I think one of the things for me to de-stress when it comes to business is to write lists. That helps me see, because usually what happens is, in my head, it's a lot bigger, because we tend to just like let it go, and it's just like snowballs. But when it's written down, I'm like, oh, okay, I got that. I can do this. Like, and then I stay organized. I'm a Virgo, so like I like lists. I like being organized.
I like
So,
pencils.
and pencils. I like pencils. If it's more of a personal thing, meditation for me, that really helps me focus and calm down and relax. I have a Zen room in my house now. I really like. I can go in there and meditate and just like chill out when I need to. I don't do it as often as I'd like, but if I need it, that's absolutely my go-to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you have any pets?
I do. Gus. He's sleeping. He's over there. Come here. Come here.
This is your big break, Gus.
He's sleeping. He's like, come here. He's like, you don't have anything for me. Come say hi to people. Come here. Oh. Come here. Oh, he's got to stretch.
Oh, yeah. If he just got up, he's got to stretch first.
Come here. They can't see you. Come here.
Maybe not. Maybe he's shy. We'll just pull Gus over here.
That looks weird because they're like, what the hell are you doing down there, Kelly? But there is a dog.
Your imaginary dog. So what's Gus's full name?
Gus Parsons.
Does he have a middle name?
No. Should we give a middle name? We'll take votes.
Of course.
Let's give Gus a middle name.
Yeah, we'll take a poll. Yeah. What should Gus's middle name be?
Come here. Come in. Oh, here he comes.
Yay. Hello, Gus. Hello, Gus. He's making his debut. What a handsome boy.
He's looking out the window. He doesn't care about the video.
His girls out there, or what's going on here, Mom?
That's Gus. What a good boy. I woke him up from his nap.
He's like, now
in my office. He has a bed in here, so he's with me all the time. Are you ready for your close-up? Okay. You're all done now. That's Gus.
So where do you see yourself in 2 years?
2 years. So like I was saying before, I think that my business is transitioning a little bit. So I would like to be fully into that next phase for myself, have a larger platform to talk to people, not just about their business, but about what it takes from an inside standpoint, where they have to be emotionally and spiritually to really be the best version of themselves, and then carry that on through having successful businesses. I think is really, that's sort of why we started Working Girls Magic too, and expanding this platform, just making an impact on a larger audience. I think I'm ready for wanting to do that. Before it was more one-on-one or one-to-one. Now it's shifting into the one-to-many and having a larger impact and meeting more people and working with people in group settings, or, offering tools that are group oriented to help people really achieve what it is they set up for themselves, and help them see any barriers, because ultimately I think I want people who want the freedom to have it. I want them to be able to get there in any way that I can help them do that. I want to do that. And, of course, increase income as you go. And I'd like to buy another house. That was really more of my plan in the 5-year plan. Have this one as a rental and buy something else. So that too.
Awesome. Well, I support you on your journey.
Thanks.
It was really great to interview you. I have more questions, but that'll be part 2 for another time.
Yes. So, and we'll set up a time where I can interview you and put you on the hot seat and make you talk about yourself for a half hour.
So, do you have your cards? Let's see if we can pull a card for the week for everybody for a message, and from our Working Girls Oracle. All right. All right, I've got a card. It's dream big. Don't be intimidated by the size of your dream. Each and every successful endeavor began with a dream, a thought, an idea. Your business plans and goals may feel huge, but that doesn't mean you aren't capable of reaching them. No matter how big your dreams may be, do not let anything stand in your way, including yourself. Keep your eyes on the prize, and you can do it. Dream big.
You can do it. You can do it. Keep digging. I'm silly today. You're on the right path, but haven't arrived at your destination yet. It may seem that it's taking forever to achieve your business goals. Stay on your path, work through those challenges, and jump over those hurdles. This is not one of those times to give up because there is resistance. The message from the Oracle is to keep digging. You will eventually reach gold.
Great card.
That's
both
great.
of them. All righty. Well, looks like we're about out of time. We're at our half hour. And I thank you for being such a lovely, lovely interviewer.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks for thinking of interviewing me. That's so nice. I'm gonna go around to everybody like, I was interviewing today. It's no big deal. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but we'll come up with something good. If you have suggestions, shoot us a message. Let us know. Hope you all have a fantastic week. Thanks so much to Laurie again. I'm Kelly from Savannah, Georgia. Laurie's down there in Fort Myers. Have a great, great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.